Yeah, so resilience, as we have discussed earlier, plays a crucial role here. Life is full of uncertainty and struggle, and these situations can feel like a long road with no clear end. Through spiritual practices, individuals learn to bounce back from setbacks, navigate challenges, and stay connected to their higher purpose. Shakti Kriya and Sudarshan Kriya energize the mind and body, helping people stay resilient and emotionally balanced even when external circumstances remain unresolved. This resilience allows us to face uncertainty with courage and conviction, even when we don't have all the answers. Ultimately, acceptance doesn't mean giving up, it means allowing life to unfold with grace and faith. Acceptance allows us to come to terms with the fact that not everything in life will be understood and not every question will be answered. This doesn't mean we stop seeking justice or truth, but we stop letting the absence of these answers determine your peace. I think that's such a crucial point. The practice of acceptance allows us to navigate the uncertainty of life with peace while still pursuing what is just and right. Thank you again for this deeply insightful conversation. It's been an honor to explore how the tools and teachings of the art of living can provide a pathway to healing, resilience, and truth, even in the face of complex and unresolved situations like those presented in Vatican Girl. Jay, Jagadish, thank you for the opportunity to discuss these profound teachings. It's been a joy to share how the wisdom of His Holiness Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji can offer support in navigating the difficult and often painful circumstances of life. May we all continue to practice, stay grounded in truth, and trust that no matter the uncertainty we face, we have within us the strength, wisdom, and compassion to bring about transformation for ourselves and for the world. Jai Gurudev. Jagadev, it's truly enlightening how these spiritual practices can shift our perspective and transform our responses to even the most challenging situations. The documentary Vatican Girl gives us a glimpse of how systemic issues can overshadow personal pain and suffering. Sometimes it feels like the truth is buried so deep it's impossible to uncover. In such cases, how can individuals cultivate patience and trust in divine timing through practices like Trikal Sandhya and Agni Karam? Knowing that sometimes justice or truth may take years or even decades to come to light. That's such an important aspect to consider. Patience is something that we often overlook in today's fast paced world, especially when it comes to matters of justice, truth, and healing. But as you rightly pointed out, there are situations like the one we see in Vatican Girl where the journey to uncover the truth is long and uncertain. People often feel overwhelmed by the process and they may question whether justice will ever be served. Patience, from a spiritual perspective, is deeply tied to trust in divine timing. The practices of Trikalsam and Agrikaram offer immense support here. These ancient practices are designed to help individuals surrender their personal will and align themselves with a higher universal purpose. Trikalsam, with its three moments of prayer throughout the day, keeps the practitioner aligned with divine guidance. By offering prayers at the dawn, noon, and dusk, we are reminded of the cyclical nature of time and the rhythms of life. Trikalsam there helps us develop the patience to endure long waits and the acceptance that everything happens in its own time. It encourages us to release our attachment to the outcome, knowing that the universe or divine energy is orchestrating things in a way that is beyond our immediate understanding. Agni Karyam, the fire ritual, is another powerful practice that teaches us practice and patience and surrender. Yes, through the offerings made to the sacred fire, we release our desires and attachments into the flame. The fire becomes a symbol of transformation and purification. When we offer our frustrations, anger, and impatience to the fire, we are cultivating the patience to trust that eventually the trust and the truth will emerge. Agni Karam also symbolizes the process of slow but inevitable transformation. Just like fire gradually transforms a piece of wood into ash, the same way, through consistent effort, persistence, and trust, the truth will eventually come to light. For someone like the Orlandi family, patience becomes not just a practice but a necessity in dealing with their loss and seeking justice. Agnigaram would allow them to channel their frustration into a purifying process, helping them stay strong and committed to the cause without becoming consumed by the delays and injustices they face. Trikalsam that can help them maintain their focus on the spiritual journey, while sadhana or padma sadhana helps them develop emotional resilience. These practices help build an inner foundation of peace that enables one to remain steadfast in the face of uncertainty. I think that's such a beautiful reminder that patience is not passive waiting, but an active surrender to divine timing and trust in the process. It's clear how these spiritual tools helps individuals transform the experience of waiting into a time of inner growth and peace. Another aspect that comes up in Vatican Girl is the emotional turmoil of those involved, family members, investigators, and even the viewers. How can practices like Sudarshan Kriya Sadhana and Gayatri Japa help individuals transform emotional turmoil into clarity, peace, and constructive action? Emotional turmoil is something that every individual can relate to at some point in their life. It's natural to feel overwhelmed, confused, or even stuck in such situations, especially when they involve significant loss, injustice, or unanswered questions. In Vatican Girl, the emotional turmoil felt by the Orlandi family, along with the community, is palpable. It's difficult not to get lost in the web of conflicting emotions, grief, frustration, anger, and helplessness. This is precisely where practices like Sudarshan Kriya Sadhana and Gayatri Japa shine. They offer a way to calm the mind, release negativity, and gain the clarity necessary to move forward in a constructive and peaceful manner. Sudarshan Kriya is a profound breath based practice that works on multiple levels physically, mentally, and emotionally. On the physical level, it detoxifies the body, releasing stored stress and negative emotions. On the mental and emotional levels, it helps to release mental clutter, giving individuals the space to process their feelings without becoming consumed by them. For someone caught in emotional turmoil, Sudarshan Kriya offers the ability to step back and create a sense of emotional distance from the situation. This emotional release is key for individuals like the Orlandi family who may have been carrying emotional burdens for years. Through Sudarshan Kriya, they could transform this emotional turmoil into a space of inner calm, enabling them to approach the situation with their clarity and strength. Sadhana, which includes meditation and self reflection, also plays a vital role in transforming emotional chaos into peace. Meditation allows the practitioner to sit with their emotions, acknowledge them, and then gradually let go of them over time. This practice helps cultivate emotional maturity and equanimity, which is crucial for navigating emotionally charged situations like the one in Vatican Girl. By developing the habit of sadhana, individuals can find themselves responding to challenging situations with more clarity rather than reacting impulsively or getting swept away by emotions. Gayatri, the japa, the chanting of Gayatri mantra, is a powerful tool for mental and emotional purification. When the mind is overwhelmed by confusion or negative emotions, chanting the Gayatri Mantra helps re establish inner harmony. The vibrations of this sacred mantra align the mind and heart, creating a sense of peace and calm. This can be especially important for those seeking justice or truth, as it brings clarity and directs the mind away from confusion or anger. In a case like the Orlandi family, where the search for justice has been long and emotionally exhausting, Gayatri Japa can be an anchor and reminder that the journey of truth is divinely guided and ultimately leads to peace. These practices seem to offer such a profound emotional and mental clarity. They not only help us navigate turmoil but also guide us toward constructive action. I imagine that in Vatican Girl, the family's grief could easily cloud their judgment, but with these tools, they would be able to approach their fight for justice with a sense of peace and inner strength. To conclude, what advice would you offer to viewers of the documentary who may feel emotionally overwhelmed by the complex nature of the case, and how can they incorporate the practices of Sudarshan Kriya Sadhana and Gayatri Japa into their lives to navigate similar challenges? I would say to those viewers, you are not alone in your emotions, and the feeling of being overwhelmed is a natural part of the human experience. But what I would like to emphasize is that you have the power to regain control of your emotional and mental state through consistent practice. Life's challenges are inevitable, but how we respond to them is within our control. Sudarshan Kriya Sadhana and Gayatri Japa offer a direct way to tap into your inner power and transform your experience. I encourage everyone to start small, begin with a few minutes of sadhana each day, dedicate time to meditation or mindfulness to help clear the mental clutter and find your inner peace. Regular practice of Sudarshan Kriya will detoxify the body and mind, giving you the strength to face your challenges without becoming overwhelmed. And chanting the Gayatri Mantra will help guide your mind towards purity, bringing divine light and clarity into your life. By integrating these practices into your daily routine, you begin to shift your internal state. Instead of being dominated by confusion, frustration, or helplessness, you become grounded in clarity, compassion, and resilience. You can approach the challenges like the search toward truth and justice from a place of peace and innocence. You begin to realize that you are not just a passive observer of your life's circumstances, you are an active participant in shaping your emotional and spiritual responses. The practices taught by His Holiness Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji offer a transformative path, a way to not only survive through life's hardships but to thrive in the face of them. You are always capable of creating peace within yourself, no matter the situation around you, Jai Gurudev. Yeah, Gurudev, thank you for the opportunity to share these practices. May we all remember that no matter the uncertainty to challenge, we have the tools within us to create peace, clarity, and healing. Let us continue to practice with patience, trust, and love, knowing that every step on the journey brings us closer to our true selves, Gurudev. Jayadeva, and thank you for your thoughtful insights as we continue to explore the themes of Vatican Girl. One of the most intriguing aspects of the case is the involvement of powerful institutions and the lack of transparency in the investigation. This, of course, brings a lot of frustration and confusion to the Orlandi family. How can the spiritual practices you mentioned, like sadhana, sudarshan kriya, and shakti kriya, help individuals maintain their clarity and focus in the face of systemic obstacles and corruption? Yes, the lack of transparency and involvement of powerful institutions in the case of Emanuela Orlandi is a key factor that has kept the mystery surrounding her disappearance alive for so long. It's frustrating when we encounter systemic corruption and silence in matters that demand transparency and justice, as was the case with the Vatican's role in this investigation. When institutions fail to act in the best interest of the truth, it can leave individuals feeling helpless and even hopeless. However, from a spiritual perspective, this is where the power of practices like sadhana and sudarshan kriya can be incredibly helpful. These practices teach us to detach from external situations and maintain inner strength so that our peace is not dependent on the actions of others. When you practice sadhana, you begin to witness a transformation within yourself where your emotional and mental state is no longer swayed by external chaos. Sadhana helps you become emotionally resilient so you can face external challenges like systemic issues and corruption without losing your composure or clarity. So, Darshan Kriya in particular is a very powerful tool for releasing emotional blockages and detoxifying the mind. It allows you to let go of frustration and anger, feelings that can easily arise when dealing with corrupt systems. When your mind is free of these negative emotions, you are able to see the bigger picture more clearly and make decisions with wisdom rather than being swept up in anger or resentment. This practice also brings a deeper sense of peace and equanimity, which is essential when confronting institutionalized wrongdoing. Shakti Kriya, which works on the energy system of the body, helps us to ground ourselves and become more centered. When our energy is aligned and flowing freely, we can feel more empowered to confront the challenges ahead with confidence and a sense of divine support. Even in the face of powerful opposition, these practices help us align with a higher truth and maintain clarity of mind so we don't lose ourselves in the emotional whirlpool of frustration or bitterness. In the case of the Orlandi family, they could benefit from these tools in dealing with the frustration of their research for truth against a wall of silence. These tools give them the inner strength to continue their fight for justice no matter the external circumstances. Sadhana helps them remain grounded in their purpose. Sudarshan Kriya clears their mental and emotional clutter, and Shakti Kriya empowers them to face even the most formidable institutional forces with their resilience and a calm mind. You make an excellent point about detachment from external circumstances, but another striking theme in the documentary is the psychological toll that the ongoing investigation takes on the family and those involved. How can practices like Gayatri Chapa, Upanayana, and Agni Karam help an individual or family process grief, trauma, and emotional exhaustion while maintaining focus on their ultimate goal, seeking justice or uncovering the truth? Yes, emotional exhaustion and the toll that grief and trauma take on those involved in prolonged investigations, especially one as complex as Emanuela Orlandi's disappearance, can be overwhelming. These emotions and often cloud judgment, lead to burnout, and prevent individuals from staying focused on the goal, whether it's finding justice, uncovering truth, or healing from the trauma itself. This is where practices like Gayatri Japa, Upanayana, and Agni Karam can be of tremendous benefit. Let me explain how these practices can provide deep emotional healing and help individuals process grief and trauma. Gayatri Japa is a beautiful spiritual practice that involves the chanting of the Gayatri Mantra, which is known for its purifying and healing effects. The vibration of the Gayatri Mantra helps clear the mind of negativity, alleviating the emotional burden caused by grief, trauma, and confusion. For someone in the Orlandi family or those close to her case, Gayatri Japa can serve as a grounding force, allowing them to channel their emotions into a prayerful, peaceful vibration. By chanting the mantra regularly, they can gradually clear the minds of emotional clutter, making space for clarity, healing, and hope. Upanayana, which is traditionally the sacred thread ceremony in Vedic culture, has a deep symbolic significance. It marks the beginning of a spiritual journey and offers guidance in times of adversity. In the context of the Orlandic case, the practice of Upanayana can be viewed as a rite of passage, a way of marking the transition from emotional chaos to spiritual empowerment. It symbolizes the beginning of a more focused and deliberate path toward healing, strength, and wisdom. The practices of Upanayana reminds individuals that they are not just victims of circumstances. They are connected to a larger spiritual truth, and through spiritual practice, they can find a strength to face any adversity. Karam, the fire ritual, offers an opportunity for emotional purification. In times of great emotional burden such as grief and trauma, the fire symbolizes transformation. By performing the Karam, individuals can release their pain, suffering, and negative emotions into the fire, purifying themselves emotionally and energetically. This practice creates a sense of catharsis and emotional release, allowing one to continue on the path of healing and justice without being overwhelmed by grief or despair. For the Orlandi family, Karam could help them process years of grief and frustration, transforming their emotional suffering into inner strength and resilience. Together, these practices offer a powerful toolkit for processing emotional exhaustion. Gayatri Japa clears the mind and brings peace. Upanayana marks the beginning of a spiritual journey towards healing, and Agni Karam purifies the emotional body, transforming pain into strength. These tools not only help individuals cope with the psychological toll of prolonged trauma, but also help them stay focused on their ultimate goal, whether it's justice, truth, or healing. That's such a powerful message, transforming pain into strength through spiritual practices. Now, as we return to the broader theme of power dynamics within the Vatican and the role of institutional silence in the disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi, what do you think can be done to break free from toxic systems that silence the truth and perpetuate injustice? And how can the tools of art of living such as Sudarshan Kriya, Shakti Kriya, and Trikalsam they empower individuals to communities or communities to confront and dismantle systems of oppression? This is one of the most important challenges in our society today: how to confront and dismantle systems that perpetuate injustice, silence truths, and allow corruption to thrive. The Vatican case is a tragic example of how powerful institutions can manipulate or obscure the truth for decades. It also reflects a broader issue that we see in various sectors of society, whether it's politics, the media, or other institutions, where systems are designed to protect those in power while keeping the truth from surfacing. From a spiritual standpoint, breaking free from such systems requires courage, wisdom, and a commitment to higher values. The tools of art of living like Sudarshan Kriya, Shakti Kriya, and Trikalsam, they help to build us inner strength and clarity. Sudarshan Kriya is particularly helpful for individuals dealing with oppression, as it helps clear mental and emotional blockages that prevent clarity of thought. Sudarshan Kriya allows individuals to detoxify their minds and bodies, releasing frustration, anger, and fear, the very emotions that can keep them trapped in toxic systems. Once you have cleared your mind, you begin to see the truth more clearly. And with that clarity, you can take steps to expose and confront the systems that are suppressing the truth. Shakti Kriya, which works on an energetic level, helps to empower individuals by releasing their latent potential. When energy is stored and balanced, a person is less likely to be manipulated or subdued by external systems. Shakti Kriya helps build inner power, enabling individuals to act from a place of strength and resilience, even in the face of significant opposition. Recall Sunday, as we discussed earlier, involves three key times of prayer, aligning us with the divine will. Through these moments of connection with the divine, we receive guidance and clarity, which can help in making decisions that challenge injustice systems. Recall Sunday also strengthens our inner resolve, so we can stand firm in our commitment to truth, even when conflicted by powerful forces that seek to suppress it. In communities and institutions, these practices can create a collective energy that resists systems of oppression. When many individuals within a community adopt these practices, they create an energetic field of truth that cannot easily be manipulated or silenced. And together, individuals who are empowered through these practices can bring about transformation not just for themselves but for the larger systems they are a part of. Ultimately, the power to dismantle systems of oppression lies in the hands of individuals who cultivate inner peace, strength, and clarity through spiritual practices. When people align with the truth within themselves, they create a ripple effect that can influence society at large, one person at a time. This has been such a thought provoking discussion, particularly how spiritual practices can not only help individuals overcome emotional and psychological challenges, but also how they can confront and dismantle toxic systems. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Your insights offer a deeply transformative perspective on how to deal with complex challenges like the ones shown in Vatican Girl. Thank you for the opportunity to share these teachings. It's essential for all of us to remember that through spiritual practices we can heal, find the truth, and stand strong against systems that perpetuate injustice. I hope that viewers take away the power of inner peace and resilience as they face their own challenges. May we all walk the path of truth, strength, and transformation, Jagrudev.